Hey everyone! Today we're diving into a gripping 2019 Korean drama thriller called Money, a film that uncovers the dark world of stock market scams and fraud. If you're already into trading or thinking about entering the market, this one's a must-watch. But before we begin, do drop a comment and share your thoughts after watching the video. It really helps us grow. The story kicks off in Yedo, South Korea's financial capital, where we meet Mike, a young, hard-working broker struggling to make his mark at DM Securities. Despite giving his all, he's stuck earning zero commission, surrounded by high-flying colleagues. Coming from a poor farming family, Mike is desperate to succeed and change his fate, even if it means crossing some dangerous lines. His only real friend in the office is Kevin, a wealthy guy with big dreams of starting his own investment firm. They share a deep bond, despite their very different backgrounds. At DM Securities, it's a high-stakes game. The market runs from 9 to 3, and in those intense 6 hours, fortunes are made and lost. Let's unravel how far Mike is willing to go for money and what price he pays for it. In the stock market, big players, the ones with deep pockets, often manipulate prices through speculation. This means intentionally crashing stock prices to buy low and then selling high when demand spikes. It's illegal because it crushes small investors, but sadly, it still happens. South Korea has the Financial Supervisory Service, FSS, to crack down on such manipulation. One day, Mike gets a mysterious call from a client offering 20,000 shares of an electronics company, and then hangs up. Confused, Mike takes a gamble and buys the shares, but soon the same client calls back, furious. Turns out, he had meant to sell, not buy. Mike's mistake costs the firm money, and the manager announces that no one will get their commission this month because of it. Naturally, everyone blames Mike, but someone's been watching. Leon, the company's top broker, who once stood where Mike is now. Leon tells him that everything changed for him when he started working with a secretive firm and a man named Jack, a broker with access to powerful insider information. Everyone who's worked with Jack has climbed to the top. Inspired by Leon's success, Mike finally meets Jack, a calm, confident man with an air of mystery. Jack hands Mike a burner phone and says, "You'll get a call tomorrow. Follow the instructions exactly. The account you'll handle is named Samuel Asset." Mike's life is about to take a dangerous turn, one that could bring him fortune or destroy everything. Jack tells Mike, "If you pull this off, not only will you earn a hefty commission, but you'll also secure a future with us. But there's one condition: absolute secrecy." The next day, Mike opens a DMAT account under the name Samuel Asset, which already has $50 million loaded into it. He's ready. Then, a call comes through on the special phone. As soon as the market opens, spread 5 lakh shares of the company Spread, and buy 9 lakh shares from what's available. Now, Spread is a blue-chip company. Its shares rarely go up for sale, and never above 500. So why are so many suddenly flooding the market? Turns out, one of Jack's inside brokers planted 15 lakh Spread shares for sale, all on Jack's signal. At 9 a.m. sharp, the market opens, and Mike executes the plan, buying exactly 9 lakh shares. The unusual volume sparks panic. The vice president at DM Securities hears about it and is stunned. Mike made this trade? He investigates, only to find out the client who placed the order doesn't even exist. Soon, chaos spreads through the market. A US-based Hong Kong bank had dumped securities below market price, and this massive sell-off drags the entire market down. But Jack, he's waiting. While everyone else scrambles, he buys up crashing stocks at dirt-cheap prices. Mike thought he was just doing a transaction, but in reality, he had just triggered $1 billion market manipulation, and there's no turning back now. Soon, the shocking trade catches the attention of Korea's financial watchdog, the FSS, Financial Supervisory Service. Investigator Roy is assigned to the case and begins digging into what's now known as the Spread scam. But the broker who dumped the Spread shares has already vanished overseas. Roy traces the trail to Samuel Asset, the buyer, only to find an empty office. The man who ran it had long disappeared after pocketing his cut. The only link left? Mike, the broker who executed the deal. Roy starts tracking Mike and discovers something suspicious. Mike's commission, over $1 million, was funneled into an offshore account in the Bahamas under a fake name, Mark Cho. Meanwhile, unaware that he's being watched, Mike begins enjoying his newfound wealth. He buys a lavish apartment, showers his parents with comfort, and takes his girlfriend to a luxury dinner. But his celebration takes a turn. In the restaurant restroom, he unexpectedly meets Roy, who quietly hands him a business card. The moment Mike reads FSS, his heart sinks. He realizes he's under surveillance. Soon after, Jack reaches out again with a new mission: program trading. This means executing bulk trades of various shares all at once using an automated system. The market is falling, and Jack wants to move fast. Mike receives an order to buy shares worth $139 million and executes the entire trade in minutes. In total, transactions worth $700 million are made, and Mike walks away with a massive commission of 1.75 crore. His colleagues, once doubters, now look at him with awe. But behind all the praise, the walls are slowly closing in. One night, Roy confronts Mike outside his apartment and warns him, "You're being watched." The words hit hard. Mike is visibly shaken. The next day, he meets Jack and tells him everything. Jack stays calm and reassures him, "Roy has no solid proof. But if you panic, things could spiral. Take a break. Go to the Bahamas." Mike follows the advice and flies to the Bahamas. At the bank, he checks his offshore account and is stunned. $141 million sitting in his name. Overwhelmed with excitement, he withdraws some cash and dives into vacation mode. While enjoying his trip, he meets David, a wealthy investor from New York. They exchange business cards, and Mike dreams of bigger things. But his dream is cut short. Back in Korea, the FSS raids his office. And it's all because of Mike's recent suspicious trades. The company's inquiry committee grills him. As a result, Leon is fired, and all his responsibilities are handed over to Mike. Furious and humiliated, Leon lashes out and storms off, but Mike doesn't care. He's riding high on money, power, and fame. His name tops the commission charts, and the office sees him as a star. What he doesn't realize is he's unknowingly become a pawn in massive stock speculation. Then one night, Mike receives a mysterious call. The next morning, the news breaks. A broker named Beck has died by suicide. Mike is shocked. He had seen Beck once at Jack's place. Police question Mike, as Beck's final call was made to him. Digging through past transactions, Mike discovers Beck was one of the brokers who did program trading alongside him. Meanwhile, Roy approaches Kim, Mike's colleague, who's also been involved in shady market dealings. Roy gives her an ultimatum: "Help me, or prepare to go to jail." Roy instructs Kim to secretly extract Mike's transaction data from his computer. Meanwhile, Roy also targets another broker, Hang, who works directly under Jack and has now come under suspicion. Hang meets Leon, and both realize a harsh truth. They've just been pawns in Jack's game. If this investigation moves forward, they're going down too. So, in a desperate move, they decide to flip. Team up with Roy and help expose Jack, even if it means facing jail time. On the other side, Mike goes to meet Hang, only to find out Hang has jumped to his death. But this wasn't suicide. Jack had him eliminated by a contract killer to silence him. The sight shakes Mike deeply. Kevin tries to talk sense into him, warning that he's being used, that Jack is dangerous, and Roy's already closing in, but Mike brushes it off. Then Jack calls. In their next meeting, he tells Mike it's time for naked shorting, an illegal tactic. The job is worth $35 million and Mike's cut. Attempting $5 million naked short selling means selling shares you don't even own or borrow, which creates false pressure in the market and leads to chaos. It's a risky, unethical move. The next day, Mike gets a call from a client to buy 70,000 shares of Signal Tech. Moments later, another client calls for 80,000 more. Jack, using multiple fronts, ends up buying 20 million shares, dirt cheap, all through Mike. Then the truth hits the news. There had been a fire at Signal Tech 2 days ago. Jack used this panic to short sell shares he never had, triggering fear among real investors. As they rushed to sell, prices crashed, and Jack scooped up the entire company stock at rock-bottom prices. Mike is finally starting to realize he's not just in over his head, he's drowning in a storm created by Jack. Mike finally sees the full picture, and it's terrifying. He's certain Jack was behind the fire at Signal Tech too. Turns out, Signal Tech was a fire safety company, and Jack has a pattern. Crash the stock of struggling firms, buy them dirt cheap, sell off their assets, and pocket millions. Meanwhile, Kim steals Mike's transaction data and hands it over to Roy. Things escalate. Jack orchestrates a car accident that leaves Leon in a coma. At the hospital, Jack shows Mike Leon's condition and coldly warns, "This is what happens to traitors." Mike is now neck deep, surrounded by danger. Roy raids DM Securities with the Financial Crimes Unit and collects critical evidence. He confronts Mike with the proof, a full history of his illegal trades, thanks to Kim. Then, Mike's phone buzzes with devastating news. Kevin's father's company, Vasang, is about to collapse. Mike checks the board and realizes Jack's next target is Vasang. Jack plans to crash it and buy it for pennies, just like the others. That's when Roy offers Mike a deal. Help us take Jack down, and you walk free. Determined to make things right, Mike meets Kevin and promises, "Tomorrow your dad's company will rise. I'll buy all the shares and stop Jack." Kevin tells him his uncle is ready to sell Vasang to another firm in a panic. Mike pleads, "Don't sell. Trust me." The next morning, Mike uses the global investment account to buy Vasang shares in bulk, causing the stock price to surge. Kevin convinces his uncle to hold off on selling. As chaos brews, Jack tries calling Mike, but this time, Mike ignores him. Roy picks up on the massive deal and rushes to global investment. Meanwhile, Mike places $9 million worth of Vasang shares for sale, the same ones he secretly bought hours earlier through global. And now, the twist. Mike had arranged everything through David, the investor he met in the Bahamas. Where did the money come from? Simple. From Mike's secret offshore account. Every shady dollar Jack ever paid him was now being used against Jack himself. As Vasang's stock price skyrockets, investors, including Kevin's uncle, hold on to their shares. Jack's plan to crash and buy the company fails, and he's furious. In rage, he sends a hitman to eliminate Mike, but security is already protecting him. Meanwhile, Roy raids Jack's global investment office, only to find he's already vanished. But Mike is a step ahead. He tells Roy, "Jack will reach out to me. He always does." Just as expected, Jack calls Mike and asks to meet at a metro station. Mike shows up, wired, with Roy secretly listening in. Mid-conversation, Jack realizes he's being recorded. In a panic, he signals his hitman, who stabs Mike. But before things spiral further, Roy storms in, arrests the killer, and finally catches Jack. Jack smugly claims there's no evidence, until Mike hands Roy a recorder. It holds every shady word Jack ever said, right from their first meeting. As Roy leads Jack away in cuffs, Mike slips away unnoticed. He later calls Roy, revealing all the hidden devices Jack gave him, every breadcrumb of evidence. Sitting quietly on a train, wounded but free, Mike glances up and locks eyes with a mysterious passenger. The screen fades. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the story, like, share, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new.